Hello, everyone. Happy Monday. Well, intermittent fasting has become such, almost like a fashion nowadays, right? Like people are just using it to lose weight, to do this, to do that. Well, we want to understand what is recommended, what are the guidelines. All those questions are going to be answered to you from Dr. Chelsea. Dr. Chelsea is a naturopathic doctor joining me live from Canada. Welcome, Dr. Chelsea.
Thank you so much. I'm very happy to be here tonight.
Great.
hmm
Let's just understand the overall guidelines first.
Okay, very good question. Well, intermittent fasting was actually first developed to kind of mitigate some of the hard parts of fasting for long periods of time. So fasts were done for days or weeks for political or health reason. And intermittent fasting was brought in that was 12 to 36 hours to be a little bit gentler on the body. It's actually one of the oldest dietary forms. And I kind of like it because anybody can fast because it's free. It doesn't cost anything to fast. Actually, it probably saves you money if you're not eating for a little bit. Um, One thing you want to make sure you're doing when you're fasting is drinking water. So that's totally fine when you're fasting. Don't put anything in your water, but stay hydrated. A cup every hour or half an hour so you don't go dehydrated while you're fasting is pretty important. Mhm.
Okay, so there are so many different type of fasting in the sense 420, 12, 12, OMAD. It's kind of confusing as an
Mhm.
end consumer. So do you want to
Mhm.
elaborate a little bit, like how long should we fast for? What is recommended? Should we only do one meal a day, or should we do 4 hours and 20 or a
Mhm.
12, 12? What is recommended?
Mhm. It's a good question. When you're fasting, you want to see what's the reason behind your fasting. So, um, food when you stopped eating will stay in your digestive tract for about 4 to 8 hours. So if you kind of think of our digestive tract as one long tube, we got the entrance and then we have the exit with a lot of different sphincters and chemicals it goes through, and it's being kind of massaged all the way down. So it takes about 8 hours for sure to get all the food through you. So after the food's gone through you, then your digestive finally has a break to restore and heal. So the first 4 to 8 is just getting the food through your system. After that, if you're going into 12 hours, then you start to use up your glycogen stores. So that's at the 12-hour mark. And then if you move into the 16-hour mark of fasting, that's when your body runs out of glucose and starts to use triglycerides or your fat as fuel because your body needs energy. And so that's when fat is starting to be utilized during your fast. So then past that 16 hours, and then if you're going into 48 hours, then your body's starting to use proteins, amino acids, which is coming from muscles. So you want to be aware of what you're starting to use as fuel source when you're fasting. So it's important to know what's the reason behind your fasting and what do you want to use for your fasting. But a nice, gentle way to start fasting would be skip breakfast, starting at 12. Have two meals or whatever you like to stay fueled throughout the day. Stop eating at 8 o'clock, and that's called like a 16-8 fast because you're fasting 16 hours and you're eating in an 8-hour block. So that's kind of nice. A nice way to fast that you're sleeping for most of it, so you're not thinking of food the whole time. But it's a nice introduction into fasting.
So you talked about what are the goals for fasting, right?
Mm-hmm.
And intermittent fasting is also being used nowadays for weight loss. So
Mm-hmm.
talk a little bit about your thoughts on intermittent fasting for weight loss. You said that
Mm-hmm.
if you fast for more number of hours, then the protein the body starts taking the protein as a fuel source. So let's just talk through what is recommended if someone wanted to actually use intermittent fasting as a weight loss weapon.
So, intermittent fasting for weight loss is a really powerful tool to start to put, well, first connect you for what the food feels like on your body. I tell my patients when they're eating something and they have a break from their diet, it kind of allows them to be aware of how do I feel after I eat this food? How do I feel after I've had a break from this food? So once you've gone into your your 16 hours of fast, you're starting to use triglycerides mainly and go into ketosis. And ketosis means your body's using fuel as ketones as your fuel and breaking down your fat. Now, the one really nice benefit is going into ketosis is your brain loves ketones. It like eats them up. It's a really good brain fuel. So you might have some clarity, which feels great and is a bonus, but that's kind of that brain fog goes and that feeling of clarity comes. So at 16 hours, if you're doing it for weight loss, is a really good time. Another reason for weight loss is it sometimes resets your diet. It allows you to think, what have you been eating? It allows you to restrict calories without having to think of calorie restriction during your 8 hours. You can still eat, fuel yourself, but it's a good diet reset.
Okay, and then let's see, how long should we do the intermittent fasting for? If someone wants to lose the weight, right? Mm-hmm. Should it be like over a period of 3 months, 6 months? And then what happens after you go back to your normal eating routine? Should we just continue intermittent fasting for the rest of our lives? I mean, that's the thing, right?
Mm-hmm. That's a good question. So how long should you intermittent fast for? I mean, one of my favorite, I think, fasting quote is Hippocrates. He said, to do nothing is sometimes a good remedy. And I think sometimes we're so looking for the perfect pill or the perfect fast or the perfect diet. So if you think fasting is more of one of your tools, and once you know how to do it and how you feel, then you can listen to your body and integrate it when you're feeling a little bit brain fog or a little overrun, or to boost your immune system or to help you fight a disease. Like another old saying, which is feed a cold and starve a fever. That's talking about fasting, starving the fevers to let your body start to heal itself. So if you are going fasting, let's say you're trying it for a week, you're fasting for the week, or you take a day off, 6 days, you're fasting intermittently, or time restricted feeding is another name for fasting. And then you say you have one day and you just don't fast. So there's no golden rule of how long you need to fast for. It's really listening to your body is what I recommend. But one thing I think is beautiful that you maintain with fasting is autophagy or autophagy, or the cells eating themselves, the ones that are diseased or maybe not working as well or kind of sluggish. So autophagy is this beautiful thing where your body cleans up old cells. And after you're fasting, that cleanup, that spring cleaning of your cells is still yours. So you get to maintain that. So if you think you spring clean your house once a year, you can start fasting for a couple weeks once a year and use it as a tool.
Okay, well, this is a quick 101 on intermittent fasting. Anything else that you'd like to add? This is supposed to be a quick 10 to 15 minute session that we bring on a daily basis.
I just wanted to say this is all just informational. If you want to know about fasting for more specific diseases, there's a lot of really neat research coming out for cancers and metabolic diseases. You can talk to a naturopath or your medical doctor, and they can aid you in fasting for different tumors, cancers, and metabolic diseases.
Okay, so this can be applied to the ailments as well for therapeutic purpose or healing purpose, right? That's what you said.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Well, that's really good to know. Well, thank you so much, Dr. Chelsea, for being with us. To all the viewers, keep supporting us on a daily basis. We bring you 10 minutes of wellness tips every single day. Stay tuned. We are launching our holistic platform, so hopefully that should be with a new app that should be out pretty soon, hopefully in end of March or April timeframe. Thank you, and namaste, and have a great week, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.